with Nick Khan the most likely to replace Vince McMahon and why WWE has not released Paige. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for December 7th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. After being in the main event scene of NXT, Adam Cole finds himself with his friends in AEW, where he also looks to become a top guy, telling Brandon Walker on Wrestling. The big difference here is looking at AEW as a whole objectively. The biggest thing AEW does so well is that whether you're in the first match, middle of the card, or main event, AEW does an excellent job of making every person feel special. Whether you hold a title or not, a lot of people in the company feel like stars because they are, and AEW does a great job of building talent in many different ways. For anyone who is concerned, if you just look at kind of where we're going, I'm a member of the Elite, the #1 heel faction in AEW. Between the matches that I've had with guys like Jungle Boy and the pay-per-view match we had, I've gone face to face with Hangman Adam Page. There are things happening to Adam Cole that I promise people are going to be very satisfied with, very happy with. At the end of the day, whether it's Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, NXT, or AEW, I always end up becoming the top guy. This is not going to be any different, I promise you. No one has anything to worry about because I'm Adam Cole, baby. On Raw last night, Liv Morgan came up short in her women's title match against Becky Lynch. Given Becky needed to grab the rope for extra leverage on the pinfall, it seems these two are destined to face off again, as Dave Meltzer believes the company is getting ready to make Liv Morgan champion. One would think that is the case, and I actually think that is gonna happen. It just depends on the thing is that I don't know what the long term is, but they can have Morgan win, but in the long term Lynch should be the champion. There's no rule that she can't lose it and win it back. You know, it would make Morgan, it would help make Morgan, into something. It would elevate her to have a short reign. Lynch wouldn't be hurt by losing it and winning it back. Lynch is already a star. They're sometimes hesitant about giving people titles, but it's a pass around title. There's no reason not to. It's not like it's Roman Reigns. Their world title is not a pass around title. There's no reason not to. Speaking of Raw, last night Bobby Lashley attacked Big E, Rollins, and Kevin Owens after the WWE Champion beat Kevin Owens in a steel cage. With the contract of Kevin Owens running out in January, it seems this triple threat match has been made into a fatal four-way, with Meltzer explaining, singles matches are always better. Three-way is always better than a four, so they're gonna go with four. It just puts everyone on the show and it makes it easier for a finish, because, whoever you want to win can just beat Kevin Owens, and that won't be a problem. And they would still have the other matches as far as other opponents for what they need to set up. It was previously reported that Owens is likely to take the fall in this bout, with fans having to wait and see if he re-signs with the company or joins AEW. Sticking with the Day 1 pay-per-view, at the event we will see another match between Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. It was noted prior that the plan for these two is to have a series of matches. The Day 1 event needed some big matches on the card, and that appears to be the reason this bout was added, with a noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, to establish this as a traditional big show, and the idea is to make this one of the biggest shows of the year. You need to establish it. Lesnar versus Reigns is the strongest match they've got, so that's the match they chose to establish it. The feeling is that Royal Rumble didn't need it. They're trying to establish January 1st as one of the biggest shows of the year, and so they're going to put their biggest match in there. As stated, there is expected to be a series of matches between these two, with Meltzer writing that it is not going to be the last Lesnar and Reigns match. Obviously, there is still a plan for WrestleMania, so that's the basic gist of it. Nikki A.S.H has been on a losing streak lately, with her coming up short again during her match against Queen Zelina on Raw. This is apparently a storyline that the company is setting up, with it said on Wrestling Observer Radio. Whether it's Rhea Ripley giving up on her, but it looks like it's more of an angle for Nikki to go through a depression from always losing, because they rubbed it in later in the show as well. It's very clear they're trying to get her in this thing, where she doubts herself. Wherever they go from there, I don't know, but the losing is meant to benefit her. I'm not saying it will benefit her, but it's being being written in their minds to benefit her, because they're trying to go in a direction with her, it looks like, where she has to keep losing to stay in that direction. Usually, it doesn't work. WWE superstar Paige has not been seen on programming for the company since early 2020. It was noted by Ringside News in March that there were no plans to bring her back to the show, according to a WWE creative staffer. With Paige still under contract, Meltzer talked about why she hasn't been let go. She's still employed, and I don't know when they call her with an idea, then that's what she does. When they don't call her, she doesn't do a lot. Yeah, I can't really give an answer about why she hasn't been released. It's probably, who knows? It's probably maybe they feel there's value in her and appearances, and as far as things like that her name's strong enough to keep her employed and worth it for the company, and also the injury and the career-ending nature of it, there might be some feelings on that as well. Vince McMahon eventually stepping down from his position of power in WWE has always been a prospect thought of by fans. With him being 76 years old, many wonder who would replace him when the time came. The Observer would note that WWE President Nick Khan is the most likely candidate. I mean, it's kind of a board of directors thing, but probably Nick Khan would replace Vince McMahon. Yeah, unless they went and hired somebody else from the outside, but probably Nick Khan. Yes. WWE legend Marty Jannetty is known for making the odd post or two on social media, with him giving fans a news story on him hooking up with his delivery driver. I tried telling y'all, Clearwater is the shiznit. First night here, my life agent ordered me some beef stroking off. This is my Uber delivery girl, Tamerka. I smiled with her so big cause we're gonna go watch Las Vegas beat Dallas on Monday Night Football that my Crystal Fire finished tooth from Malaysia fell out. She just laughed and said, "It's okay. P.S. I'm in a hotel. They paying for it. Knew I had to move first a month. Right now, cause I had ordered crushed electric blue wallpaper to go with my beautiful white llama hate carpet, and they putting me up saying they're having a hard time locating llama hair carpet. Sometimes when you lose, you win. P.S. If you was a betting man, what you think gonna happen later tonight? LOL. All respect though. PSSS, it's not Monday Night Football. It's a Thanksgiving replay. You think we care? LOL. But does tell me slow my roll. Former WWE Divas champion AJ Lee recently made a comeback to the business, with her announcing herself to be a part of Women of Wrestling. On Maurice Bernard's State of Mind YouTube channel, she mentioned her suicide attempt from 2014 when she was still with WWE. Nobody knew, and this is actually why I became a mental health advocate, and why I decided to write the book and write about this. And this I haven't talked about yet, but I from the outside would have seemed like everything in the whole world. I was on TV and I'm a champion, and I, dream career, got married, perfect, wonderful year. But a lot of times with bipolar disorder, big life changes kind of throw you off, and you with the high, you're gonna hit a low. And so in the same year of my life, I moved to a different state. I got married, I got really sick, and I had to take time off work for surgeries. Actually, during one of the breaks I had, you know how this is because General Hospital was no time off. In wrestling, there is no off season. Shoot, 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 shoot. So the only time I ever got time off was surgery. And so me and my husband were like, let's just sneak a wedding in here. And that's how we got married. So everything's happening really fast, and it's just like a chaos and a tornado of highs and lows in life. But I was really sick and I was scared that I had to have multiple surgeries, and so all this stuff is happening, and then I got hurt in the ring, and then my husband got sued, and it was just all of a sudden that there was stuff in my family, and so it's all of this stuff happening in the same year. And so career's great and everything going great, and I have my husband, but it was my bipolar disorder couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. I wasn't taking care of myself the way I should have been. I wasn't in therapy consistently. I was playing fast and loose with my medication because I was really vain about it, because I gain weight when I'm on my medication. situation and I was, I'm on TV, I'd rather be alive than have a six-pack. But yeah, so during this chaos, the only solution to me, the only thing I could do was I booked a hotel room and that was my plan. And so I, at some point, realized, okay, this isn't my brain. It's the darkness talking, and I called Prevention Hotline. And the tricky thing about that is my phone number was out of the area code. And you have to route your number by area code, so they can send emergency services if they need to. And so they found out I wasn't where my area code was. They were like, you have to call this number. This is like your local one. You have to do this. Please promise you really call this number. Write this number down. I was like, yeah. I didn't write it down, just hung up. And I was like, that's the sign I'm supposed to do this. So I went back to it, and then something else was like, no, try again. And I was like, I don't have the number. Maybe I should call 311 and ask them for the number. So I call, first of all, only I would have had the hilarious suicide attempt, like where it just goes wrong and somebody is like, when you have the wrong number when you call the prevention hotline. Only me. But so like, okay, 311 might help me get the right number. And the man on the other end of the phone, this man was so patient and so kind. And I don't even understand what happened, but I just started telling him everything. This kind stranger who gets like noise complaints, this is not his job. And I didn't realize that it was the first time in a long time someone had shown me kindness. It was just like, oh, that sucks. Like for so long, just thought I was like on top of the world and I'm the caretaker. And in my family, I was providing for everybody, but there wasn't anybody checking in on me. And so it's just, I didn't realize I just needed somebody to check in on me. And it was this tiny, small act of kindness that literally saved my life. Like, I don't know his name. I just remember his voice. I can hear his voice right now. He was just kind and patient, and he just listened. And that was enough for me to go, okay, I need to go home, like, this is terrifying. And so that I just thought, like, I could handle it on my own. And so what I realized from that was that I needed to talk about my diagnosis because a huge problem was I was hiding it. Like, the world didn't know at the time that I was bipolar, and I never talked to any mental health. So I needed to, like, come out of hiding. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.